Thomas. It's up for grabs now. Thomas.
Magic ball from Bergkamp to Patrick Vieira.
Oh, would you believe it? Oh, right. What a way to get it.
Fabulous solo goal by Thierry Henry.
Champions.
All right. Good evening, everybody, and it is a good evening. So we've got a special guest today, Kesh. He's making his debut on the lounge. So Kesh, very welcome to the channel, and we'll hope to see you soon again. And everybody knows my co-host, Levanja. You want to say hello to people, Lev?
Mate, I'm just buzzing right now. So just crack on,
Right, well,
man.
let's get into it. Let's get into it straight away. So I'll start with you, Lev. Go on. What did you think? What do you think? What do you think about the game?
You know what? I'm going to say it. That was our best performance I've seen so far as a team. From the back to the front, everything we did was on point. The way we were closing down at the very beginnings, the way we were, stopping them from having time on the ball, but then how quick we were with the ball. I love the balance of El Neni and Partey in particular, because although El Neni's not the best of players when it comes to, technical ability, he gets around the pitch a lot better than someone like Xhaka. So I think that partnership of El Neni and Partey really worked. I mean, we shut down that Man United midfield. I hardly saw Fernandes, who's renowned for his quick thinking. And then from the back, Gabriel was aggressive from the back. I mean, just to a team, man. At performance, I was just so proud of that performance, man. Sorry,
right, Kesh, what about you? What did you think?
I thought we started impressively, man. Like, we just played on the front foot. One thing I liked about us today is that we wasn't so deep as a back line. We played a lot higher, so we was able to press on the front without leaving too much space in between the strikers, midfield and the defense. The midfield of Partey and El Nini was just perfect to a T. They got the combination right. Communication was there. One thing, Partey was just controlling the midfield, controlling the tempo and everything. So it's perfect. And with our wingers, I felt we occupied the defense a lot more. Gave them choices to track our runs, which we weren't really doing in the first few games. And we know getting all runners in from midfield. As you saw, Partey was getting into the boxes at times today.
No, man, it was good. I thought it was really good. I thought it was an almost perfect performance. I thought we controlled the game really well. I was so impressed with Thomas Partey. So impressed. I saw Patrick Vieira in there. I know people don't want to big him up in that, but I don't care. I'm going to say it. I saw Patrick Vieira for the first time in Thomas Partey. Gabriel was really good. And I thought, when he got booked, I thought, is he going to be able to control himself going forward with the tackles and everything? I thought Bellerin was really good. He won a penalty as well. I was impressed with Lacazette. William, though, I thought he could have played better as first half. He put some crosses in. But, overall, it was good. It was good. But do you know what? One thing, why do you think he didn't start Pepe instead of William? I'll go with you, Kesh.
For me, it's going to be the dilly-dallying on the ball, not moving it quick enough, constantly thinking you're going to beat the man. Like, football isn't like that. You can't always beat your man. Sometimes you just need to give and go and move. Because when he does that sometimes, it slows the team tempo down, and then that kind of rubs off on the other players, I feel, as a personal opinion. So I felt he wanted William. William's a bit more direct. He's going to get his head up, even though sometimes he lacks the quality when it comes to his end product. But he's going to keep it moving at a good tempo. You saw we was playing from the front. We was trying to get the ball ticking and just moving it, just kind of get Man U pulled out of their position so we can get runners in behind and things like that and find the right option. In terms of chances created, we didn't really create clear-cut chances, but we created chances, and that's a plus and C, man. We've been waiting for that for how many games now? You know what I mean? I think we had more shots at goal, everything, So in terms of that, we got it right, man. We've got to be happy as an Arsenal fan today.
Yeah, of course. What do you think, Lev? What's your thought process on that?
Look, There's clearly signs we can still improve, like Kesh said. Maybe like in the final third, there's a definite area that we can improve on. But I think with where we're at and the personnel we have, I think this is the most balanced I've seen us so far, in the sense of the midfield, the defense. So I am happier. I do feel like we do need to improve in that final third. Still, we could have taken advantage in the first half. We could have been a goal or two up if we made better decisions. The fullbacks, as you mentioned, were pivotal today. So I mean, you can't
Do you
really
think?
grumble.
Do you think is it because William offers more defensively?
It's a bit of both. Like obviously, when you play, I know we call it pragmatic football, yeah, but we don't play pragmatic for the whole game. It's not 90 minutes. It's about when the other team's got the ball, what we do then, and we get everyone behind the ball. Which is modern day football. Like you want to see everyone trying to put that defensive work rate in. You don't want to see someone just over there doing what he's doing while there's 10 players working. It's not fair. At the end of the day, you as you work as a team and a cohesive unit overall, you end up getting a better shape. Because when it's 10 men defending, for instance, you've got someone who's doing double shift. You have to go left and you have to go right. It's about how we transition into the attack. And I felt that was a lot better. And William gives you that going back and forward.
Yeah. Let's hide some of these guys in the chat. I'm just gonna put some of them on. Levi, if you can go through them. So it's the old school
Guna. Yes, how you doing, brother? Yeah. You was asking where Shaheen was. He's here now, man. Maximus Genitalia, biggest dickers. How you doing, bro? Gabriel was world class. We do not deserve Partey. The guy was gliding through the middle like the other. Listen, we've waited long enough for him, man. We deserve him. Trust me. Hard Code FC. Where Lee Gunner at Levant? I don't know where Lee Gunner's at, man. Why ask me, bro? Old school Guna. Some Egyptian magic on show today. Time to put some respect on El Neni's name. I include myself with this too. I hope I ain't spoke too soon. You know what? He had a great game. There's no denying it. And maybe this is what he is perfect for. Maximus Janitalia again. Lacquer and William were useless in attack. I don't know, man. I think they worked really hard, in my opinion. I don't know what you guys think. And finally, old school Gooner again. Our organisation today was superb. When we lost the ball, it was about getting back into shape, not so much the high press intensity. All the Arteta out clowns are quiet tonight, I see. You know what? Anyone asking for Arteta out, not giving the guy a full season is just illogical. There you go.
Yeah, I thought, listen, speaking of which, yeah, does it not bring the question that if we're capable of such performance, right, why couldn't we turn up at City and play this way? And just, I think one of the things that we did well tonight was I think we put it on United a bit more. You know, it wasn't the old negative, sit back and defend performance. I thought we had a goal, we put it on them a bit more. I thought Lacazette I thought he was fighting up front. He was challenging for balls. I think he was getting a ball off a couple of the defenders. I know some people in the chat say Lacazette useless. I don't think he was useless. I actually thought he put a really good shift in. But why we couldn't go to City and Liverpool and play this way? Does Thomas Partey make such a big difference? I'll rephrase that. Is Thomas Partey the difference between tonight's performance and Liverpool and City away performance? And I'll go with Ilkesh. Go on.
I think it's a bit of both. Like for me, he's a midfielder that wants to be on the ball. You've got to, as a midfielder, you've got to want to be on the ball. You need to love that ball. Make it your own. And he does that for me. When you look at some of his intricate passing through the lines, just trying to drive with it. Like, he took out 2 to 3 men at times out of the play. Like, we haven't seen that in how many years. So, for me, it works. But then again, I do feel that we went to Liverpool and City with a bit of fear as well. So, that's why I say it's a bit of both. We know Man United, like, obviously, we've seen their results over the last few weeks. But are they really that far from us? They're not. They're not that far from us. So
No.
even before the season kicked off, I said we'll do the double over them. But the way I saw them go on from strength to strength over the last few weeks, I thought, it's not going to happen this year. Like, we're going to get outplayed. But then the midfield and everything, it benefited us today. One thing I would like to say to you guys, though, yeah, because sometimes we do tend to play it sideways a lot of times, yeah. And I know a lot of our fans been saying we need a 10, but for me, like I've watched the game and I've assessed it. Do we actually need a 10, or do we need to just put a Banyan through the middle and get a winger who's creative but can also take on his man? A winger that's
Like
going
a
to drop,
Zaha type, you mean?
yeah, a winger that's going to drop in the pockets as well, can play a pass or he can go out wide. He's not so one-dimensional. It's not exactly a 10 we need, in my opinion.
Yeah. You know what? That is an interesting point. I think we could potentially need both of them because, Aubameyang has got, I would say, maybe 1 or 2 years left in him.
Mm-hmm.
So it's something that maybe we should start creating from now.
Yeah.
Lev, what about you? What do you think?
Do you know what? I do think we do need that type of player. Hwasi Moore can sort of drift out wide, but then come in as well. So Kesh is right in that sense. I mean, most players nowadays, they don't stick in that 10 role anyway, do they? They sort of flip in and out.
Now, yeah.
So we can do with somebody like that. But what I do like about what we have now is we have more stability. We've got a better chance of putting someone like that in without him worrying about what's going on behind him. It's strange to say, someone like Ozil benefited from that a few years back. He's not right for it now, but we need somebody who's got a little bit more. But generally, the way we've set up today, I think going forward is going to benefit us. I think it's going to give us that confidence. That you mentioned why we didn't set up like that against Man City and Liverpool. I think it was a couple of games too soon. If you look at us now, we look like a more confident team when we have Partey in that midfield. We've got someone with some physicality that commands respect. Midfielders now, when they're playing against us, you don't have little midgets running around. You've got a beast in there who can hold the ball, and he's confident enough when the ball comes to him in his own abilities to hold it, turn, pick a pass, and they start to back off him and give him an extra yard. And you saw that happening today. And Partey, El Neni complimented him perfectly. He did all the donkey work for him. So I like that pairing.
Yeah, I think the amount of time that I saw Thomas Partey intercepting or getting a ball off the play, there was one instance towards the end of the game where he came on up with the ball, he lost it, which was the first time, and then he went back and he got it. This is what I'm saying. The last player I remember in an Arsenal shirt was doing things like that was Patrick Vieira.
Yeah.
He had that with Paul Pogba as well, didn't he? Pogba won it back.
That's the one he's talking about,
No, I think he's talking about the one later on as well. He lost the ball and then he come back.
I think that's the one. I think with Paul Pogba that he won it back.
Just on the halfway line,
Let's go to some of the guys in the chat again. Guys, if you got any questions or anything for Lev and Kesh, just put it on there. We'll bring it on the screen.
Come out. Okay. Dino, Laka is a yard short. You know what? I think we asked a lot from him today. Ken, how you doing? Ken Ogbodo. We always say put someone beside Ozil. Please, can we say put Partey beside El Neni? El Neni Xavi.
Let's not get carried away, boys. Let's not get carried away.
All right. Maximus Genitalia, Arsenal, one superb creative midfielder away from being immense. I tend to agree with you on that. Saka can't play in the 10. Work rate doesn't win games, and Lacazette was bought for 50 million to score goals. That's a fair point. Who knows? Robin, El Neni and Partey totally control that midfield. Partey, man of the match. Agree with you on that one. Old school Gooner again. You know what? El Neni passed the ball forward more times today than he has in the last 3 or 4 years at Arsenal. That's not too difficult. no more L sideways. Yeah. Robin says, big up Arteta as well after tonight. Where are Lee Gunner and all other Arteta out clowns now? Do you know what? I don't know who's been spouting Arteta out. Is that you, Kesh? Yeah. Is that you, Kesh? Say that.
There was one piece of play that I thought summed up El Neni, and it was right towards the end when he started pressing up. I don't know if you remember that. So he came up, I think it was on the right-hand side. He pressed up, and then he went up against Maguire, and then he forced Maguire to play a ball that went out. I think it was Lindelof that he played the ball. And I thought it was a simple performance, nothing extra, just play where you need to be, cover the gaps, get the ball, simple passes to the guy next to you. And that's what that's what you need in games like this at United away. And obviously, after 6 years, we managed to win away in the Big Six, so-called. They didn't say this on the Sky Sport when they were doing the match, so I'm going to ask you guys, who's your man of the match?
Who are you
It's
asking?
gotta be
Yeah,
Gabriel
Josh.
for me, you know. It's gotta be Gabriel for me. Like to play
Mm.
for most of the game with a yellow, and credit to Rob Owen as well because he was on the yellow as well. That is not an easy task to do. It's not right. And you know
Yeah.
what? Over the years, a lot of the defenders that we've had would have ended up getting a second year. I know we fouled Greenwood that way, but it weren't really. It was one of them ones. The ref had to make the choice. It weren't a reckless challenge. You know, yeah, he's definitely getting yellow. He was controlled and measured, and that's what we've been asking for in our defense for so many years. I
Left?
appreciate it, man.
Yeah.
Do you know what? Gabriel was very close for me, man. He's been immense since he's been playing for us. Like the aggression when he's trying to come forward and win that ball. Like he doesn't let the centre forwards turn. Like I mean, where was Rashford and Greenwood today? Like they were shut down today. So Gabriel was very, very close for me. But for the all-round control of the entire game, I think Partey just nicks it for me because he linked the forward play and the way he defended as well and screened that back four. It could have been either one of those two.
Could have been
But
either,
for me,
either.
I'm going, I'll go Partey for me, man. So it makes it
No,
fair.
to be
Kesh, give
fair,
it to Gabriel. I'll give it to Partey. There you go.
yeah, to be fair, there was quite a few guys that could have easily walked away with that. I thought El Neni played really well. I thought Bellerin
Brilliant.
played well.
Tierney.
It was a workman-like performance, not something that you see a lot from an Arsenal player. But there was one thing I wanted to ask you guys: why do you think he brought Nketiah on? Because for the last 15 tournaments, Nketiah wasn't. He didn't do much, and I could hear Arteta shouting, "Eddie, Eddie, Eddie." He kept shouting. I think he wanted him to do something that he wasn't.
You wanted him to do what Eddie didn't. I don't think he quite understood his role. Like you saw what Lacazette was doing. Sometimes Eddie seems to want to just press on his own, and when you do that, you end up leaving a gap in there, and then that's why you saw the likes of El Neni trying to cover his space as well at times. You need to do it as a team, and you need to control yourself. You don't always need to go full gas because what you saw was Man United trying to apply more pressure. Their centre back starting playing a bit over their off, and Arteta just wanted him to be a bit more controlled. There's a chance if you sit in, you can then nick it and you can hit on the break. But for me, it was just that Lacazette's worked really hard today as well, so you can't expect him to just.
I thought Lacazette.
He worked really hard. Yeah, he worked really hard. With Lacazette, you know what it is? I think Jose would be the perfect manager for it. I feel he misses that nasty streak to him. Like sometimes he controls it and he's just waiting for that, and then he gets nicked off him. Like you want him to control it, be a bit of aggression, get off me. You know what I mean? But he doesn't do that for me.
Lev, what's your thoughts?
You know what? I think he brought him on, like Kesh said. The Lacazette went through a lot of work. And I think he wanted to keep that work rate up towards the end of the game so that we didn't allow Man United that chance to sustain pressure, which they were trying to do in the final sort of 5-10 minutes. I don't think he did that badly. I think the problem you have with Lacazette is because of the role he's having to play at the moment, he's having to focus so much on work rate sort of, away from goal that maybe sometimes you could argue he might have taken his sharpness away in front of goal. Because he's doing a lot outside of the box, and this is a striker, so maybe he's struggling to maintain the balance of, doing that sort of position and that sharpness in front of goal. That might be something to look at. But I mean, generally, I think Nketiah did all right when he came on. Another thing I wanted to highlight as well is the last few weeks I've noticed Bellerin, the fullbacks in general, are making more runs in behind defenses now.
Why
so
do you think
Bellerin
that
is using his pace. Yeah, well, obviously, someone's looking at the fact that Partey can get the ball and he can knock the ball and see. Yeah, and now what you're seeing is our fullbacks getting in behind. The Leicester game, Bellerin had a couple of opportunities he should have perhaps done better with. I think we're starting to see more of a pattern there, and I think we're going to see more of that over the coming weeks.
Yeah, I thought generally, I think I've said this before as well. I'm not sure about it. I think Nketiah was better off going out on loan, playing week in week out, and we'll see what he's really about, rather than staying. I thought he'd bring Nketiah on to push them back a little bit, so they'll be fearful of his pace. And I thought if he wanted to do that, would it not have been a better option to bring Pepe on and leave him up there, because he's got more trickery. He can push them back a bit. He's more pacey than Nketiah, I thought. Obviously, you don't agree with me, Kesh.
The reason why I know where you're coming from, I understand where you're coming from, but I've seen it too many times. Like, say for instance, let me give you an example. You get a clearance, Pepe gets the ball. He doesn't have the picture in his head first. Like, if the ball's being cleared and you're on last man, I want you to take a touch out your feet and go. But he will take a touch and he hasn't decided what he wants to do yet. And then that's how he gets caught on the ball, and then the ball comes straight back out. So I think that's why Arteta ever done it.
So you're not really a Pepe fan, I take it.
It's not that I'm not a Pepe fan. It's just that there's things that he needs to get out of his game. Like, it's like he's playing street football. Like,
what you're saying, Kesh, is he's more likely to try and take someone on or something and then lose the ball, and then we get the ball back straight out.
Without even taking us up the field.
Yeah,
that's
he just wouldn't think about it.
When he came on for the 20 minutes, he didn't really affect things as much as Lacazette.
He didn't. No, he didn't.
But down quite a
but
bit.
he did. He had a few chances where he nearly nicked the ball. I think that's what Arteta wanted. Someone who's gonna not let the defense rest, because we saw what they weren't. They, like, the last 20 minutes, they stopped playing within the midfield. It was just the two centre backs trying to actually start the play. So I think that's what Arteta wanted to do, was stop them from actually getting time on the ball and picking passes. And you know what? He didn't do it perfect to a T, but there's a few times where he got on their necks and made them rush it.
Yeah, what do you think, Lev? What's your thoughts on that?
Well, with regards to Nketiah again?
Yeah.
Do you know what? I think Arteta done the right thing. He's got 15 minutes to go. Lacaz's blowing out of his arse. He's run a lot. He's thought to himself, do you know what? We need someone to keep pressing those centre backs. Don't give him time on the ball to look up, pick a pass, like maybe Luis was doing for us last week. He thought to himself, that's the danger. Do not give him time on the ball. Get someone to just shut them down. And it did work quite a few times. It rushed them. So I don't think there's much else he could have done. I don't think Pepe would have got much of the ball. It would have just been long balls over the top, like our clearances, him chasing it down. Whereas I think with Nketiah, he's a bit smarter with shutting down. He's a little bit more methodical about it. He doesn't just go off trying to do stuff with it. He's a bit more, he thinks about it.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I thought today was a bit more clear that Arteta doesn't probably fully trust Pepe in a situation like this, where he would bring him on with a bit of time left and say, right, do your thing now, hold the ball up, because he bring Maitland-Niles on instead of Willian as well. So, I mean, it was a bit, maybe Kesh is right in saying that he's not fully ready. I just want to ask you something. How important was to win the game today, and how important was to win it in a manner with it?
Mate, I was waiting for. Listen, I went to bed last night, and before I went to bed, I was like, I can just imagine the commotion if we lose this game. There's so many people out there who's already on the manager's head. All it needed was this last brick to go, and everyone would have started crumbling. And then we don't need that, man. We don't need that toxic environment at the club right now. Like, we need to get behind the manager and rally our troops, because the season's long. As I said, a lot of teams that everyone's praising already. Nothing solidified. Like, we don't know what's going to happen until we get to like the 10th to 12th game of the season, where you can start seeing what teams bringing some consistency and what teams actually looking at the real deal. We won't know yet. So we had 2 odd fixtures, and obviously I understand we wanted to have a go at these teams, show that we're actually that we can take these teams on, but it was 2 teams that we probably wouldn't expect us to win. Like, we probably would have gone toe to toe with them, but I wouldn't expect us to win. Everyone's going
Do
to
you know what?
compare. Everyone's trying to compare that a lot of teams have gone and got results off them, but football doesn't work that way. Just because you go and you apply yourself sometimes, don't mean you're going to get the victory. And as you've seen, our midfield looked totally different compared to what it looked like a few weeks ago. Things take time.
Yeah. Do you know what? Before I'll go on to left, welcome Miguel. We're just obviously talking about the game and everything. I'm going to come to you. But Kesh, just following up what you said, we did a poll on our Twitter page today. And it was, do you guys expect us to beat Man United? 71% said no.
Really.
So 71% didn't really expect us to go down, put a performance. Obviously, 21% who said that were right. But Miguel, what was your thoughts on the game? How do you think it all unfolded?
Honestly, if we were going to win, this is exactly what we expected. If you were predicting a win, this was the game plan to win the game. You're going to go to Manchester United. You're going to play a 3-4-3 in a defensive low block. When you get your chances, if we get a goal, we're going to wait the next 10 minutes, soak up the pressure, and if we can get it to the last 20 minutes, you're just going to say, you know what, forget about it, shut down the house, park the bus, and close it out. And that's how we won. And Manchester United are that team. They cannot break down low blocks. We've seen against Aston Villa, against Crystal Palace, against other teams, Manchester United have struggled to score the equalizer once they're down late in games. But as long as we were still in it, I was always confident after that first half. To me, this was the second best first half we've had after Leicester. Leicester was our best performance in the first half. This was our first 80-minute performance where you could say from the first minute to the 80th minute, we were solid. After that, it kind of died out, but that was expected because you're not going to expect them to play amazing for 90 minutes every single game. We're not that team yet.
And you think this is mainly down to Thomas Partey being present?
No, there was many players who had good games. Gabriel had an amazing game, right? We cannot debate that. Elneny had a decent game. Willian stood out for me in the first half. I don't know about you guys. Willian was everywhere in the first half. He even hit the crossbar. And then Saka was really good. This was not a game where you can just say one player was amazing. There was 3 to 4 players you could name that are equally as good. And that's very complimentary to Arteta and his game plan. And Arteta, he set up, and this was a masterclass. He schooled Oli. He taught Oli how you play away from home against the top teams. And today, Emery, Arsene Wenger, none of these guys could do this since 2015. Arteta has done it within 6 months. He's gone and beat a big team away from home. And you know what? I know sometimes we can all be negative as Arsenal fans, but this is why I'm backing the guy, because he's already come in and he's done more than what these other managers have done. And he's very.
I just want to ask you something. There's quite a few people in the chat asking where Ligon is. I just wondered if you know where he is.
Who?
They were asking me for some reason. I don't know why they were asking me. I don't know why they were asking me.
Where Ligon is. I just wondered if you know where he is.
I think he's on a plane to Spain or Honolulu or wherever he claims to live. I don't know.
Listen,
Honolulu.
Yeah. Lev.
In Honolulu. How'd you get that?
Lev, what did you think? How important was for us to get the 3 points in a way we did today? How important was it for us to get the 3 point in a way we did today?
Are you crazy? We're one game away from mayhem.
It was another negative performance. And at the back of that,
as a fan base.
Sorry, let me finish. At the back of that,
yeah.
How important is now next week at Aston Villa, because we've got Villa at home and Leeds away, and Leeds is going to be a difficult one.
I said, yeah.
Listen,
Leeds. I said there's going to be all 3 of our hardest games this season is going to be Man City at their ground, Liverpool at their ground, and Leeds.
Sorry.
I'm just saying, every game right now, we're one game away from mayhem as a fan base. That's the crazy thing about us as fans. It winds me up. Like, there's no sense of logic. We've got a new manager who's not only inherited the squad, but inherited a lot of the problems from before. And that impatience that he's receiving right now, that's also inherited. That's our impatience from everything that's gone wrong over the last 10 or whatever it is years. They're all piling onto his shoulders. And that's half of our fan base doing that. And I don't agree with it. We've got to be logical with the way things are happening. I personally, if you're a footballing man, you look on that pitch, you can see that every single player today knew what their game plan was. and you could listen to what the coach was telling them, and you could see that they were shutting down in a certain way, and those 3 points were well deserved. Now, it's not going to be easy to get 3 points every single game. I think we're going to have one of those seasons this season. I don't think we're going to have one of those seasons where two teams dominate and the rest will like follow. I think we're going to have a lot of teams beating each other this year. So those next 2 games are crucial. But I suggest as fan base, if you can see things changing on the pitch, we know there's a couple of players maybe we need to make us better, especially in that final third. But you know, yeah, they're crucial games. We need to be winning those games really if we're going to be challenging for top 4.
Right. I'm just going to go through some of the comments again. Again, guys, through the comments, let us know who was your man of the match. What did you think about the game, and going forward, what your thoughts are? So we start with this one, Lev.
Okay, bro. Old school Gooner, Kesh, top man. I agree with you. A lot of your views, bro. Like old school man, you're such a flirt. You go from one person to another. Now you're going to Kesh. Before it was Shaheen. Now you're jumping ship. Shaheen, look at this. That proves it. Shaheen, you got competition for my appreciation, bro. Fine, bro. Don't you just go. You carry on just sharing your love like that. Yeah, carry on. Ken Ogbodo, can we see the difference Pace can make in the midfield and on any 7 out of 10 throughout the season so far? You can't really fault El Neni so far, I have to probably say. Marquee signing, big up lads. Can't believe
I'll come to you, Gal.
how unfair some of our fans have been to Arteta. Yeah, Marquee, they've been harsh, agreed. Mr. Bungle, Mr. B in the chat, what's cooking, people? So Mr. Bungle just comes on there to big himself up. What's happening, Mr. Bungle? EGTV says send the links, and boom, here he is. Look at that.
Do you want to give your channel a shout out, Gal?
Yeah, guys. First of all, I'm gonna be back tomorrow on here, and I'm gonna be doing a video breakdown of the whole weekend. And obviously, we're gonna get into the game again a little bit more in depth, and we're gonna be talking about stuff going forward. Also, look back at the Europa League game. Did we talk about that yet? I'm not sure, but we're gonna get into that also. And yeah, you guys can catch me on EGTV. I'm gonna be doing a video after this, probably at 10 o'clock. So if you want to check it out, you can check that out.
Go on,
Lauren Wood, El Neni and Party bossing the midfield. Yes, Lauren, what's happening? Yeah, she got that spot on. Mr. Michael, great win, but United didn't turn up today. Let's be real. Job done. You could say that. We stopped them playing, signing. He was quite good. All the pressing up top was coming from Willian. I thought Uber was poor, actually, with a poor work rate. Ooh, that's a bit harsh. Well, you know.
Right, what did you want to say about El Neni?
Mohamed El Neni. I think this might be a little too early to say, but dare I say, have we found? Until January, where we cannot fix this midfield combinations that we have we found the closest partner to somebody that can work with Partey? Because in these big games, El Neni offers us more mobility. He offers us more interceptions, more tackles, more physicality than a Danny Ceballos or a Xhaka. He has more experience than a Joe Willock, and we all know Emil Smith-Rowe and Ozil and these other guys are not getting in the team right now. So, out of the options that we have, he might be the best partner in a 2 next to Partey. Now, in a 3, I'm not sure if it's going to work, but in a 2, it makes sense that with them 2 together, you've seen today, we were on their backs quickly. And every time the formation would be fluid with the 2 midfielders that are that mobile and that good at winning the ball back, their ball recoveries. Thomas Partey had 8 ball recoveries within the first half. And I think El Neni himself had like 4. Thomas Partey ended the game with double-digit ball recoveries. Do you know how impressive that is? Like, winning the ball back 5 times within a game sometimes is difficult. But he went against Paul Pogba, Bruno Fernandes, Fred, and Scott McTominay in the midfield, and he won the ball back over 10 times and bossed the game. And next to El Neni did not look that far away from Partey when it comes to mobility, physicality, and I'm not saying he's nowhere near him as his player, but at the same time, he could have come back a better player, and now we're starting to reap the rewards of that loan that we gave him.
Gal, what do you think Thomas Partey and Lucas Torreira combination would have looked like?
I'm done with Torreira personally. I think he's too small and too weak to play in the Premier League, and his head was gone. I don't want anybody at the club who their head is gone. I like Torreira. I liked him when he first came, but if you are not interested in playing for Arsenal, I don't want you here. I back the players who are here. The players who don't want to be here, I'm not backing you.
Yeah, but from a footballing point of view, from a player's point of view, from what you saw of Lucas Torreira over 2 years, do you think him and Thomas Partey would have been a good combination?
I don't think so, because Thomas Partey is a more physical, more commanding version of Torreira. What Torreira thinks he is and what he is for us is two completely different things. Torreira is at times he's too small and he tries to win the ball. He tries to win the foul instead of win the ball, and you can't really do that in the Premier League. And I don't think it would work because Torreira does not offer us enough going forward. Does not offer us enough balance to pair up with Thomas Partey, where El Neni, even Danny Ceballos would offer us more balance. And it's almost like, it's what have you done for me lately? What was the last thing Torreira did for us when he played at Arsenal? I can't really remember. Where if you talk about other people who've left the club, like Nacho Monreal when he was leaving, you could still say, hey, he would have still done a job. But Torreira, I don't think he would do a job for us anymore. I think he suits Atletico Madrid better.
Yeah. What's your thoughts on this? Are you in the same boat as Egal?
I liked Torreira, yeah, but I feel Torreira is that sort of player that comes into a team perhaps when it's finished and you put him in a free. But for me, he couldn't play in this two-man midfield. I think he'll be lost in there. He's not physical enough. He's very tenacious in his tackle. That's what, if you think of Torreira, that's what you think of. He's tenacious. He nibbles. He doesn't let you go. He nibbles. But when it comes to actually being physical and winning aerial duels and things like that, he's not quite there. And I've always said it. Once I found out that Atletico Madrid was interested in him, I said that's a perfect sign for Simeone. He would suit that league to a T rather than the Premier League.
Lev?
I see where you're going with this. I see where you're going with this Torreira thing. And you know what? When he first came in, I thought he was going to be a good signing for us. In La Liga and sort of in the Italian leagues, it suited him. It's not as physical, and he did look really good at it. It's not as quick. I think he started to struggle physically, and for in our league, centre midfielders are beasts, and I think he started to struggle. He looked really cute, but he did start to struggle. So I think, you know what? Right now, if I'm going to go with a pairing in the middle, it's El Neni and Partey. Not because I think El Neni's amazing, but sometimes you don't need your midfielders to all be amazing. You just need them to do the job that's asked of them. And if you've got someone like Partey there, El Neni's job becomes easier. He thinks all I got to do is win it and just give it to Partey. And you could see they were confident in him when they were giving him the ball. They knew that he was going to be comfortable on it. So I think the pairing that I would go with right now is those two. But we do need that sort of crucial, quick thinker in the final third type player to give us everything we need in that midfield.
Can I say something? Look at Manchester United and the quality of players they have in the midfield. And their best midfielder, who's supposed to be Bruno Fernandes, Paul Pogba, and even Fred, were outclassed by Scott McTominay. Scott McTominay was their best midfielder today. The rest of their midfield, those players are supposed to be levels above them. But it just goes to show you, sometimes the best player on the pitch is not always the most skillful or the most highly rated. It's just sometimes the person who works the hardest and does the smart things. Like Fred should have been sent off, and Bruno Fernandes was missing. Did you guys even notice the commentators mention his name once? And then you have who else was there? The man who gave away the penalty, Paul Pogba. You know what? All three of those guys get into our midfield, but today, and then he was a level above all of them. And
I agree with you, and I think as much as we were good and we were organised, United were poor, and if I was a Man United fan, I would be really, really upset now, because that midfield on paper should be a really, really good midfield. You got Pogba, Fernandes, then you got Rashford up front with the other young lad, pacey forwards, right? And you got Fernandes feeding them through. So on paper, it should really be good, but they didn't really put in a performance today. Was it that? Do you think it was that they didn't turn up, or we were so good that we nullified all the threats? I'll go with you, Kesh.
You say that again, please. I didn't hear you.
Are you not even listening?
Wait, now you got how it feels, Shaheen. He did this to me a couple of days ago, Kesh. He did this to me a couple of days ago, Kesh. So you know what? Good. Now you know how
No,
it feels,
no.
yeah.
I
Right,
was watching
no. You carry on now.
I was watching the
What
first
was
match
that?
myself.
It's all right. I was saying, some
Sorry,
United
you were
players,
saying.
I was saying, they wasn't that United players. Some of them they didn't turn up. They didn't put in a shift in. Or we were
Listen,
so good and organized that we nullified their threat.
listen. I said this in our preview. You guys will back me up here. I said this diamond will not work today. It's not the same as playing. Like a lot of Man United fans was comparing it to what they did against Leipzig, saying, "Oh, they played the same formation." But no, everyone seems to think just because you play a back three, it's pragmatic. Leipzig does not play low block football. They got flying wing backs and they've got a lot of space in midfield when they go forward. Arsenal's going to sit in, and bearing in mind we're playing at United's ground, so they've got to come on to us. They can't sit back. That's what they're good at. They like to sit back and attack teams. So being at home, it was a plus for us. You've got Pogba, who's playing wide, playing in a diamond, yeah, but he's playing on the left hand side, yeah. He's gonna have to come out and track our wing backs. Pogba is no good at doing that when he comes to going back towards his own goal. So I knew we was gonna have opportunities to do that. And as you see, like you've noticed, a lot of our attacks over the recent weeks have been going down our left hand side. We actually attacked a lot on the right hand side this time because we know he's there. So we capitalized on that. For me, it's not so much United played bad. I think we stopped them. But McTominay in there didn't quite understood the role that he was meant to be doing. He kept dropping back too much with Fred. It's like they were playing two in midfield as a low block, playing as a two DMs basically, trying to collect the ball. You can't do that. He needed to be going a bit over the halfway line, getting in between the channels and that, and trying to receive the ball, which I think Van der Beek would have done if he had started. I feel the manager got the wrong team selection and it didn't help Man United today.
Lev, what's your thoughts?
Ironically, United suffer from the same problem that we suffer, but they're supposed to have someone like Bruno Fernandes who unlocks the key, right? When a team low blocks against Arsenal, that's where we struggle because we don't have that man who can unlock a team, right? So even in that Leicester game, we ran the first half, but we didn't really create as much as we could have. And as the game started to die away, there was more and more chance that Leicester were going to maybe nick something, especially when Luis got sent, had to come off and Vardy came on. So United, it was very similar. Like they didn't look like they had an answer to what we were doing. We were shutting them down. Bruno Fernandes was nowhere. So as far as I'm concerned, we nullified them. That's why they struggled. They couldn't. And I strongly believe the presence of Partey in that middle, in the mentality in that midfield was different today. It pushed United. Like Kesh was saying, their two centre midfielders were dropping deeper. I believe they were dropping deeper because they were looking at that physicality we had in there, and it was pushing them back. And Partey controlled that midfield. So I think it was down to us personally.
Yeah, you know what? I can't praise Thomas Partey enough. As I said, for the first time, I saw a player in Arsenal shirt who was doing what Patrick Vieira used to do for Arsenal, and it was, what's the word? It was a joy. It was a joy to watch a player with a better physicality in the centre midfield winning a ball back and just shrugging people bouncing off of him, and he's driving the ball up and he's bringing. So it was fantastic to watch. Look,
and Gabriel behind him as well, Shaheen.
Come again? Yeah, of course. Look,
Gabriel was setting the tone from the back.
I was just coming to this level because I was one of the guys who was not really sure about Gabriel when he came in, but he's done. Wait for it, Cash. Wait for it before you go in. But really done well. I'm quite happy that I've been proven wrong. I just thought we could have got somebody who was a bit more established, but he's been fantastic, and I'm really happy we got him. Another thing, again, in the past couple of games, I've been a little bit critical of Arteta myself. So credit, it needs to be given when credit is due. I think he got it spot on today, and the team, it looked well structured. I think everybody knew what their job is. We looked more like a team with a plan. At Leicester, I thought we lacked a bit of a plan. Today there was a plan, and everybody knew how to execute that plan. And I think he got it spot on. I was hearing him shouting out instruction to the players throughout the game. So it was a fantastic performance, and it was a great performance by Arteta as well. How do we build on this going forward? What do we do? So when we go to Leeds away, right, which I agree with Chesh, it's going to be a tough game. It's probably going to be one of the toughest games that we go to, because that Bielsa, he knows what he's doing there. Mm-hmm. What do we do to build up on this and keep up this momentum? How do we proceed going forward from here? I'll go with you, Egal, because you're very positive and you're a big Arteta fan. So I'll go with you.
Listen, one thing we've seen today was a balance in our attack and our defense. We have not seen this much balance from our attack in a long time. Usually we either just attack from one end and it's constantly going down one end, and we become a lot predictable. If we can continue the balanced attack and have a level of unpredictability going forward, that is where we're going to win games, and that's how we're going to continue to dominate possession, or at times have our moments of brilliance. Because if you guys noticed today, nothing was predictable. There was moments in the game where you'd see us on one end, automatically switch over to the other end, win the ball back high. There was times where I never even seen Manchester United in their own half attacking us, because in our half attacking us, because they were always in their half. We win the ball back quickly. The level of unpredictability that we had today, if we can move that into the next couple games, we can win games. The thing is, unpredictability can also hurt you, because you don't know yourself when you're going to do that. It can be a positive and a negative. And one more thing, Shaheen, Lev, Kesh, and all Arsenal fans, understand this is a culture change that Arteta is doing. It's no longer the Arsene Wenger's Arsenal. It's no longer Emery's Arsenal. It's no longer anybody else's Arsenal. This is how we play. And if you're upset that we play defensive football, and you're upset that we're trying to win the game 1-0, would you rather have us lose? That's what you have to ask yourself.
Totally agree. Totally agree, mate. As you said, it's a culture shock, mate. Yeah, and a lot of times, like even when we played Atletico Madrid in the semi-final, I heard a lot of fans saying they want Simeone. So, like, you got to make your mind up. What do you want? You know what I mean? That's what it comes down to. What do you want? At the end of the day, if Arteta was to go and win something significant with this sort of philosophy, no one's really complaining. And it's probably one of the hardest philosophies to install, rather than an attacking one, I believe. Because one, your players have to be totally willing to work tirelessly for you in this sort of system, and they have to have the intelligence and follow your instructions. So hats off to it, man. I can't complain as long as we keep going. And in terms of building on this, we just need to have the belief that we can go on and create something different, install a different sort of belief in our fans, because we want to see our club go and do well. And the players need to believe that they can go on and give us that sort of happiness, like, you know what I mean? In terms of like trying to make sure we go to Villa next week and win, I feel we need to get the likes of Willian just believing in himself a bit more rather than just rushing things, because I think Willian can be a key. I think he can be the key if he actually start being a bit more creative and improving his end product, shall I say. So yeah, man, let's hope he did.
Lev, what's your thoughts?
Look, we had no choice to change this philosophy from within, because the philosophy from previous wasn't working anymore. Football had moved on from that philosophy. We started with this philosophy of out and out creative attacking football, and that's how we won a lot. But then the game changed, didn't it? You had Abramovich come in, and then people with money coming in, and then you had your likes of your Jose Mourinho's, and later on your Simeone's, who'd started a different thing where they knew that the likes of your Barca's and those type of teams you couldn't play one-for-one attacking football against. You had to change that philosophy, and we started struggling with it. And we were getting hit on the counters. How many times before a few years ago we were dominating games but still losing them, right? We were getting hit on the break, etc. So this mentality was inevitable. It had to happen, and that's what's happening. That's what Kesh is talking about, and Igal's talking about, the mentality. So he's doing the right thing, changing that philosophy from the back, moving forward. I don't think it's going to be the end. I don't think this is it for us in the sense of, well, we're playing this defensive football. There's still more we can add layer-wise, depth-wise to this team, i.e. we know about the final third. Once he gets that, we're going to see a bit more from us in that final third. But right now, I'm happier that we're harder to beat. And we just got to get the balance right. Today, we did get the balance right. The games away that you were mentioning, Leeds and Villa, theoretically speaking, Leeds will come at us. So if we're going to have to defend well, but theoretically speaking, there should be spaces in behind to attack on the break if we time it right, if we can transition correctly. It's different to playing some of these better teams. So I'm expecting more chances against these other teams, but we're going to have the same mentality at the back.
Yeah, fair enough. We've been going for almost about an hour now, so this is what I want to do to kind of come to end the show. How would you mark the performance as a whole? 1 out of 10, right? And what mark would you give the manager for today's performance? I'll go with you, Lev.
I'll go 8 and 8. 8 for the team, because I just think that the mentality was spot on for me today. It was just all the way through. Everyone wanted to defend from the back to the front, and we didn't look like we were going to like lose that lead, and which is unusual. I was worried, and so 8 for the team, and the manager 8 as well. We picked the right team, got the balance right. You can't argue it worked. He didn't concede away at home, away to Man United, so you got to give him an 8. It's a solid 8 for me all round.
Kesh?
I'll give the manager an 8, and I'll give the team a 9. Reason being is to go at Old Trafford, keep our heads, not fold and bottle it as we sometimes do in the last few minutes of the game. Like whenever I see Arsenal drop deep and stop actually being eye out the pitch and engaging in the game, I tend to worry. I felt the pressure coming on us, but we just looked so confident in dealing with everything that they were throwing at us. Not one player started to make any mistakes where you thought, oh, here we go, it's coming now. So I've got to give them an extra 1 for that. That's a 9 for me.
Fair enough. Igal, it's probably a 10-10 from you, isn't it?
You know what? I'm going to leave a little bit of suspense for tomorrow because you don't want to ruin everything for tomorrow, right? So I'll leave it.
You're pleased. You're happy.
What? I'm
You're
very
pleased.
pleased. I'm very pleased. Very pleased. And if there's one thing we can take away this moving into the next game, I just want to see if Arteta will stick with the 3-4-3 or will he change again? Because I'm not sure if we should change a system that's working, even though defensively it's working very well. Attacking wise, it might not be working, but if you continuously stick with the same formation, you'll get used to playing in both phases of the pitch.
Agreed.
Right, fair enough. That should wrap things up nicely. I thought, for me, from my score, I give Arteta a 9 and I give the team a 9 as well, because I think after two losses, he managed to get a really, really good performance out of the team, and it was a really good team performance and very well structured. So I hope it may continue. I can safely say that we're all happy with the performance and with the result today. It's been a while since we got a result at Man United, and it was way overdue. So that is a positive. The team was positive. Manager's tactics were positive. We beat a top 6 team away. That's another a positive, and hopefully we can build on that. Just before we say goodbye, we end the show. Lev, anything you want to say?
No, man. I'm just happy. I'm happy. I want us to keep a level head as a fan base. Stop being so reactionary. We can see things are changing. There's clear signs that there is a system of play. And I do think Gal's right. I mean, if we get it right from the back moving forward, eventually you would think with the quality we have up front, and we'll start to learn how to play together with that sort of midfield and strike force. So yeah, I'm happy. I'm just glad that all the fans are happy. Thank you, Old School Gooner, for saying something nice. That's it, really. That's all we got to say,
Guys,
man.
thank you very much for watching. Don't forget tomorrow. What time? Agal, you coming on?
Tomorrow, I thought we were going to do 7 o'clock, right? Or 8?
Right.
No, 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock.
8 o'clock.
Yeah.
Right. Tomorrow,
He's
8
kept
o'clock.
everyone in suspense, isn't it, for his rating?
He's going to do. He's got his weekly
Week
special
recap.
details. Sorry.
It's going to be the week recap. So we're going to look back at the whole week from the Europa League to now.
Lovely. So please tune in and watch that. Kesh, thank you very much for coming on.
No problem.
It was a shame Spring you couldn't make it. Guys, thank you very much for watching us again. Please like, share the video. It helps us grow the channel. And we hope to see you guys very soon. Thank you very much and have a good evening.